We're now going to move ahead to another ministry celebration, this time of First Presbyterian Church in Trout Lake. The presenters are Elder Doug and Janet Anderson, one of the two music teams for this church. Janet is church treasurer and currently a member of COM Northeast. Doug is clerk of session and immediate past vice moderator of the Northeast region. And they are joined by their stated supply pastor, the Reverend Scott Crane. Welcome.
Let us introduce you to First Presbyterian Church in Trout Lake, Washington, the most northeastern point in the Presbytery of the Cascades. Located in the beautiful Trout Lake Valley at the foot of purple-headed mountains and, yes, river running by, where our basic industry is organic agriculture with 4 large organic dairies who market through Organic Valley label. You may have seen it in your grocery store near you. Then there's Trout Lake Farms, who market through Amway and Nutrilite. Have you ever delayed a cold with the product Airborne? Well, the echinacea in that product may have once been in a purple-flowered field at Trout Lake Farms. And then there's the soon-to-be famous Cascadia Creamery that turns organic dairy products into award-winning cheese aged in underground lava tube caves. And here at 7 Church Street, nestled among the pines and the snowdrifts, is First Presbyterian Church of Trout Lake. In fact, we are the first church in Trout Lake, established in 1905. This sanctuary building, sitting on lava rock foundation, was completed in 1906. Our church is listed as a Washington Historic Site, and we celebrated a year-long centennial in 2005 and 6, during which our replica float won the grand prize in the Trout Lake Fair Parade. Hey! You must have been there. During its 113 years, 341 pioneers and current residents have held membership in this church. Current membership rose to 24 last month as a new resident, Allison Burke, joined us. Let's go inside.
About 10 years ago, 3 of the beautiful pines at the southwest corner of the church were leaning precariously as if they wanted to come in. So local loggers took them down, processed them with tongue and groove, and we welcomed them back as knotty pine paneling throughout the church. The members of this church also put in an accessible ramp at the time of this remodel. The pulpit and big chair are the same ones used by my grandfather, who was the pastor of our church from 1924 to 1941. What appear to be leaded glass windows are really made from tissue paper and construction paper, a creation by a former member, art teacher Candy Schultz, with some even created by our youth.
At 10 a.m. every Sunday morning, the 1906 church bell is rung, a sound of which carries throughout the valley to remind Trout Lakers that this is the day for worship.
Pastor Scott Crane is our stated supply pastor who comes from Portland every Sunday through Monday afternoon to serve our congregation. Our congregation is mostly retired folks, so our Sunday school is made up of grandchildren guests, or most likely Scott's 3 children, who came to work with Dad on this day. Adult study at Advent and Lenten time is led by Carolyn Wilhelm, a session member who is in training to be a commissioned ruling elder. Though we are one of the smallest churches in the Cascade Presbytery, we are proud of our activities, both local and worldwide.
Speaking of worldwide, one of our main mission supports is for Yeltsin and Ladenis Reyes. The young lad from Honduras, Yeltsin, was a student at Trout Lake School in his 8th grade year. He was in the U.S. for special medical services, Those services were completed at a specialty children's hospital in Boston when Yeltsin returned to his Honduras family. We have supported their education for 5 years through the Ol Ancho Aid Foundation by passing a joy jar around during our time of thanks in each service. In 2013, we sponsored a concert by Mark Vodepek, a cello professor from the University of Arizona who was hiking the Pacific Crest Trail. An offering of over $600 by the standing room only audience went to the Reyes Fund. We also have reinvented recently a Christmas Bazaar, which generates our annual funding for Heifer International. We like to think of ourselves as the inclusive community church, as many denominations are represented among our church family. We are host to the annual community Christmas Eve service with participation from Mount Adams Baptist Church. Members and leaders of the Zen Buddhist Abbey, just south of town, are frequent visitors in our service. Local members of St. Joseph's Catholic Church in White Salmon hold Mass in our sanctuary 3 or 4 times a year. And we host the weekly meeting of an AA group for the Valley in our social hall.
A pre-kindergarten school led by one of our elders takes over our social hall during the school season. We have hosted several concerts for the community in our sanctuary. Most recently, John Nilsson, Portland pianist, was in concert on our grand piano for the Trout Lake Fair. A morning walker group has their morning coffee in our social hall 3 mornings a week. The entire community is invited to our 3rd Tuesday potluck and program. Recent presentations, all made by local people, were drone photos of the recent lava flows in Hawaii, healthy eating, and information and pictures about Costa Rica.
And finally, Trout Lake has become a favorite town to visit for rest, resupply, and refreshments by the hikers on the Pacific Crest Trail, which passes by Trout Lake 13 miles north of town. They've hiked about 22,000 miles, no, 2,200 miles to get to us from Mexico headed to Canada. This summer, over 1,200 hikers from 36 different countries and nearly every state in the Union were served by many of our members who provided shuttle transportation to and from the trail, overnight accommodations if necessary, medical attention as needed, hamburgers, and huckleberry milkshakes. The gratitude expressed by these travelers made for a busy but rewarding summer. The members of the church built this outdoor shelter that has been used by the hikers, as well as for summer outdoor worship and the pre-kindergarten students. So that's the story of First Presbyterian Church in Trout Lake. Worship is at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning, but the church is always open. So come on in, enjoy, sign the guest book, and come visit us sometime. That completes our report.
Amen.